Rare ones, activate.
What's happening, rare ones? Welcome back to the joint. You know how it is, you know how we do. So, let's get active, guys. Do like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure to click the all option on the bell so that you get notified once I upload new content. Diving straight into it, as I said, my Kanye rant before I actually start putting things in perspective. You see, the whole Kanye talk. Yeah, I mean, for those of you, I don't think there's anybody right now who visits or uses the social media space that does not know about the name Kanye West, now called Ye. Um, he's no stranger to our screens. We all know him, at least for his music or maybe the fashion side of him. In the end, the man is a creative genius. He's done a lot for himself, successful and well achieved, as you like. I would say maybe even fulfilled, but that's down to him to decide that and tell us. However, Kanye is no stranger to controversy. Cast your minds back to the Taylor Swift situation when Taylor Swift, I believe, was given an award and Kanye went on stage to go embarrass himself and maybe his friends as well, talking about B and the rest of it, right? Beyonce, how she was deserving of that award and not Taylor Swift, a whole lot of things. If you don't know, just Google it. Kanye and Taylor Swift saga on stage and how Kanye embarrassed Taylor or embarrassed himself. You'd see, right? And that's one amongst many things. And also, um, coming forward, you recall the Kanye, when Kanye got together with Kim Kardashian, how it started popping off between Kanye, Ray J, and the people who talked about Kim due to the sex tape thing, and also Kanye as well, referencing what's her name, Amber Rose, as whatever he used the term and stuff like that. So the point is that Kanye is no stranger to controversy. That's been the thing about him. And like Dame Dash said on, I believe, the Diary of the CEO interview, which I watched, Kanye West likes to stir up fire. He knows how to do it, and it works majority of the time, if not all the time. So there comes the creative genius who knows how to draw attention and actually capture it very well as required. And sometimes it leaves me often wondering if we're all pawns in this whole on his chessboard. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't call Kanye a cloud chaser. He's done well for himself. He's earned the recognition that he has today. Um, but I hold certain views about Kanye, and I have my reservations about him. Now, before I say any of that, I like Kanye West. Yeah, I like his music, right? At least the majority of it. I'm not a big fan of his clothing line, but he's done great things in that sphere. However, as that man who constantly yearns or almost knows how to draw controversy, whether it's deliberate or not, as that man keeps getting out of hand every time, it's like he's constantly getting ahead of himself and he cannot avoid it, even when he tries. Um, as that guy keeps coming out, I don't know if we are actually supposed to consume the so-called truth that Kanye is pumping out just as Kanye's truth, or the truth that we should all know and be aware of. He has said without a doubt certain things that majority of us whom I believe, I mean, if you deep dive, you would know these things. You know what he's talked about, who controls Hollywood and the music industry, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. Talking about contracts and all that stuff. Talking about trying to pave way for the black community and encouraging people to buy more lands and assets as opposed to doing some of the silly things and wearing whatever chains and stuff like that. You know, Kanye is Kanye. Kanye is He's what platinum any day wherever he appears. You know what I mean? Kanye's just Kanye. You want to listen to the man talk. I watched his documentary on Netflix and I was like, wow. I felt even closer to the guy. And that's who he is. He's very captivating. He's quite winsome and charming, if you like. Not in a funny way, but Kanye's just Kanye. You want to hear what he has to say. Are there things that he does that could cause one to question his balance? Yes. But do I personally, from this position, think that Kanye West is not mentally alright? No. I would not call Kanye crazy. I don't think he's crazy. I understand that he's going through phases in life, and I am no professional nor master at psychological issues and all of that. You understand? I'm no psychologist. However, from a spiritual stance, if I can say that, I recognize that Kanye is going through phases in his life. But if I would advise him for a second, I think that Kanye requires more stillness than actually being out in the open and vomiting a lot of things that's coming out of his mouth. Does that mean that he's spewing nonsense? Maybe not. There's a lot of truth from the things he's saying. But what's the general motive? That's what I actually question in my places of thought. What is the motive? Is he trying to get our attention for the right reasons or the wrong reasons? Because if you remember, the Kanye that the world called crazy and mad and wrote off and ridiculed and made jest of went on to become a billionaire after that. And the same billionaire he became, part of the people that played into that, part of the people that helped him achieve it, like it or not, are the same people he's telling us now that are no good. And all I'm trying to say in all of that is that we ought to be more alert and vigilant to what's happening around us from a holistic view. Because if we are not careful, I speak carefully here, if one's not careful, you get so consumed by, news dailies and the current mock-ups and the next one and the next headline and the next headline and the next headline that you actually lose sight of what's important about life in general. I think sometimes the Kanye thing plays into the hands of the same persons he's warning us about, because at some point he becomes a distraction to us instead of the focus that we need or the voice of reason that we need to gain clarity. Less is more. Silence is still a word. Silence is loud. Silence is a statement. Sometimes that's a way to be. And I know that we mustn't be silent over situations that we have to lend our voices to be vocal about, situations that we must be vocal about. I am all for that. I don't like being silent in the face of oppression. But sometimes in life, for the sake of growth and to allow people to actually gain truth for themselves, understanding that we are not our own, therefore our Maker has made us in ways that He's deposited things that could allow us to gain that knowledge by ourselves, you must learn to deliver it the right way. And I also know that part of what Kanye is doing is actually just throwing out his situations out there, because it somewhat limits whomever he thinks is coming at him. Because the more he says, if anything happens to Kanye tomorrow, the world knows. Just like the crypto guy that talked about him disappearing. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to go into that. But some crypto guy, let me just put it this way. Some crypto guy talks about how he has three options. They're going to either, maybe they're going to out him, or they're going to, or something's going to happen to him, and then a few days time he drops dead. So imagine the Kanye situation happening like that. The whole world will know that, oh, wait. Are we witnessing another potential Michael Jackson situation here? Or maybe another, you know what I mean? Whatever's happening here, whatever your suspicions are. I get that part. But from a spiritual perspective, most importantly, I speak from a spiritual perspective as a Christian. I think that Kanye is serving somewhat confusion than clarity, because he's playing into the hands of the same persons who try to busy our minds, who tries to steal our focuses from what is important, from the vital, essential things in life and about our society and surrounding. So you end up chasing and following the next nonsense that Kanye is talking about, or the most sensible thing that he's talking about, or the biggest thing he's winning, or the biggest losses, or him becoming a billionaire the next minute, or losing it the other time. And we do not actually focus on the same Jesus that he's talking about. One of the things that's written, recorded in the Bible about the same God and Jesus that Kanye is talking about is written: stand still and know that he is God, for there's no reason to fight, for the battle is not yours but the Lord's. That's not my saying, it's a biblical thing. So since the whole Kanye saying, oh, I've given my life to Jesus Christ, right? And then comes his fashion, right? Before, I think it was actually the Donda preview, right? The Donda preview had no semblance of God on that whole thing. If you watched it, right, it had a very dark cloud about it. It had a very dark feel about the whole thing. The models who were, all covered, everybody in black and this and that. There was no Jesus statement, and that's why I keep saying the whole thing. It's not complete yet. I still believe strongly that sometimes, as much of a genius Kanye is, he still doesn't realize that he's actually playing into the hands of the same persons he's trying to read us off, or he's trying to open our eyes to, their mischiefs and all that stuff. So we really should be careful. And this is my first take on what's happened so far. Do I think that the man is crazy? In a nutshell, no. Do I think that he needs some calm and stillness? Yes. Do I believe that Kanye should bridle his tongue some more? Yes. Because some of the things he says and some of the commotion he causes are unwarranted. They are unnecessary. They are unprovoked. The whole DEFCON whatever, I get it. Those people he's talking about might be what he's accusing them to be. But why go that extreme just to point a finger? And that's where tact comes in. You see what I'm saying? About men who are men being strategic and minding what we do because of the people that follow us. Imagine every next person spewing their truth in a very unacceptable way. I do not support the whole whatever statement he made. But, and here is where you might find what I'm saying a little bit tricky. Do I have anything against his White Lives Matter thing? No, I don't, because when I heard that, the most important thing in that statement was lives matter. Take out the color, and what he's saying is lives matter. He never said only white lives matter, or, you know what I'm trying to say? Irrespective of the color that was attached to the line, the sentence, the statement, take that out, and all you see is lives matter. And in my book, as far as I'm concerned, I speak for myself confidently and assuredly, that is no bad statement. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's my view. You can hold yours. So you see how what he does is a bit of it's like a constant swing of what's going on. And I get that's why people attribute his condition and situation to mental problem and ill and him being crazy and stuff. But I don't think the man is crazy. I just don't think that he's allowing himself the opportunity to grow. As somebody who's saying that he's embraced God and Jesus Christ and he wants to promote God and all of that stuff, the first thing is this. See, as babes, we suckle on our mother's breasts. But when we grow, as we grow, we start learning to eat the spiritual meat and feast on spiritual vegetables and spiritual heavy food, because our body at those points could handle them and they can break them down. And that's why I'm saying he needs stillness more than anything. Not appearing on Joel Austin's church, whatever you call it, right? Climbing on stage and talking about this, and even the man giving him the platform to talk about it. Kanye, as far as I'm concerned and Christianity goes, he's still a baby. He has a lot to learn. But I think he's confusing both worlds. The whole fame and celebrity lifestyle versus the whole belief and faith in Jesus Christ movement is confusing me, you know. I mean, I never saw God charge anybody for church appearances. If anything, he opened his doors to the poor people, to the widows and widowers, and those who could not actually, you know, who don't have enough. Those are the people he represented most, and those are the people he wants us to actually open our doors to more, to help and be more charitable towards. But the fact that his church charged people to turn up there, that, in my opinion, that ain't Jesus movement. So you see why I said it's not complete. It's just confusing all the way. There are loads of inconsistencies in what he's doing and what he's saying and this and that. We ought to just watch the full movie play out. We need to read the full script before we start, you know, talking. And I know a lot of people that every morning what Jay had to say about Ye, calling him out, what this and this and that, what this and this and that. And then we feed into the narrative of confusion further for people. But the same persons, hypocritical as they are, or every human being, I think at some point we all evidence hypocrisy, and still say that they are for the people. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. So anyway, my humble opinion from my channel, as Rare One, I'm saying this. I think that Kanye is evidencing more confusion than clarity. Kanye he needs to be a little bit more still. And if you keep saying the whole Jesus thing, you want to do things the right way, then you need to understand that Jesus doesn't put himself everywhere. God is not an author of confusion. God, and by God I mean Jesus Christ, right? He's not an author of confusion written in the books. God is for people bridling their tongue and conducting themselves a certain way. You know, so God is not a respecter of man. You do not lead and ask him to follow because you want to showcase him to the world. God doesn't need Kanye to be known or to be witnessed or to be experienced or encountered. He made Kanye. Before Kanye even formed, he made the people who made Kanye. You know what I'm saying? So I think he needs to, Kanye needs to just embrace stillness and go into a place of silence, a place of silence, a place of study to understand the one he claims to follow or wish to follow, and how God's ways are observed and the ordinances of God, not man, not religion, no, God himself, the book, the Bible himself itself. You know what I'm saying? So that's my first thought. I might react or comment some more on the whole Kanye saga, maybe focusing on certain comments and areas and things that he has said. But if I'm doing that, guys, I will be doing it because there's some meat there, you know. Again, I do not believe in the whole cloud chasing and stuff like that. If there's something to be talked about, we will talk about it, right? And if you think I'm missing something, please pull me up on it. I'm all open to learn and see and hear your views, guys. So get active in the comments and please get sharing this channel. Remember, stay focused and alert and vigilant. There are too many things happening around us that constantly steals our focuses away from what's important and essential in life. I love my introspective times. I love my me times, not so I get antisocial, but so I can reflect, so I can actually evaluate myself, to think about what's happening, what I'm doing, how I'm doing them, where I'm making mistakes repeatedly and getting it wrong over and over, and where I'm failing and how I can actually improve on those things. And you can't do that if you're constantly consuming the next thing that's pumped out of somebody's mouth verbatim. Oh, Kanye said this, or what do you do? The picture isn't complete yet, guys. And until the next one, listen, I love you all. Stay rare and peace.